Hello sports fans, welcome back to the Bailiwick Sport podcast with your host Elliot Corbell, and today we're talking cricket. In this episode I'm joined in the studio by two members of the Old Victorians Cricket Club, hard-hitting all-rounder and club social media manager Ed Giles, and recently crowned Jersey Cricketer of the Year and captain of the club, James Duckett. The OVs victory last summer in the T20 League has qualified them for the European Cricket Network T10 competition hosted in Malaga, Spain between the 2nd and 6th of March, and we're going to talk all about it. This podcast is brought to you by Rathbones, the main sponsor of the Old Victorians Cricket Club. We're going to hear from the Rathbones Managing Director John Giles a bit later on, but for now, we hope you enjoy. Here's James and Ed. Okay, we are joined by Ed Giles and James Duckett, two teammates of mine at the Old Victorians Cricket Club, and James, recent Jersey Cricketer of the Year winner. First of all, congratulations. It was the highlight of my career, going up and losing that award and then having to go up and accept it on your behalf. But congratulations. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it was a great honour. I was really sad not to be there on the night. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. But it's fantastic to be recognised. You know, there's a lot of hard work and effort that goes into playing a season of cricket, giving up all your Saturdays and everything and all the training nights. And it was really nice to be recognised as that. And
of course, last summer, very successful for the OVs as a general. We had lots of our juniors nominated for awards as well. But from a senior perspective, T20 winners, ran it really close in the 40 over league, had a decent crack at the CI league. How did you both, from a personal standpoint, find it? We'll start with you, James.
It was a different year for me. Like, obviously, I was the first year as captain, so it was definitely a lot more involved, I have to say. But very rewarding. You know, the guys did so well this year. We had such a great year. This man in particular had probably his best year in an OV shirt, which was great to see. And a lot of the guys also did the same, performed the same. So we gave it a good crack in all competitions and thankfully came out the winners in the most important one, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ed, yourself, it's great to have you back in the team from a personal perspective, myself included. Like, obviously out for a long time, injured, about 2 years in the end. I was there when it happened. That was horrendous, but great to have you back. How did you find playing a full season and having a blinder as well?
It felt weird to be back. 2 years out is a very long time, but I spent about 22 months out.
Just for those who don't know, what did you do?
I did everything in my knee. I basically tore my ACL and a couple of things around it as well. But around the 16-month mark, I was sort of itching to get back. And I remember coming to training every week and going, I think next week's the one. And then 8 weeks later, I still wasn't playing. But no, it was good. It was a great season to be involved in, straight up back. Who doesn't love winning? And we did a lot of winning this year. Which was good, and I think to play so much cricket in such a short period of time, yes, it can be stressful, but because we've got such a good team, a young squad, we're all really good friends outside of cricket, it doesn't really feel like a game of cricket every Saturday. You're going and you're spending 10, 11 hours with your mates, and I think that's the best part about it. And obviously cricket comes along with it, and we're all badgers with cricket, so that's part of it as well.
But of course, the highlight of the season for you must have been hitting my passenger door car with a 6 at Grainville. That must have been a really high moment for you, that one. Yeah.
Top 3 for sure.
I think it was top 3 for a lot of people. I have to say.
I think it won champagne moment of the year for the awards night. So I think it was definitely up there, but maybe not number 1. But that's no disrespect.
So James, first season captaining the senior team. Tell us a bit about how that came about and why you.
Well, Luke Galley had decided to step down at the end of last season. I think he'd had enough of sort of all of the extra work that comes with it, and he'd done a fantastic job. I think it was 3 or 4 years. We'd won a couple of competitions under him. Never quite got over the hurdle on the T20 stuff, but that was Farmers had fantastic teams those years, so that was unfortunate. But we had our AGM and where we appoint all of our officers, and I threw my hat into the ring. I've been playing in the first team for about a decade now, so I thought there's quite a bit of experience behind that. We got voted in, and from there I took the reins.
And how did you find it? Obviously, top order batter, opening the bowling. How did you find captaining on top of all that?
A lot. Yeah, it's definitely, for the first few weeks, I had to definitely get used to it. I think captaining in cricket is a lot different to captaining in other sports. There's a lot more thought process behind everything, especially when you're in the field. So it took a little bit of getting used to, I think, and Luke was obviously still playing every week, so he has been an excellent support and still continues to be. It was really, really good fun, but quite stressful.
And culminates in you winning Cricketer of the Year, so it can't have been too...
Well, I don't know about that. Yeah.
So on to the reason why we're here today. You mentioned we win the 2020 league last summer, which gained us qualification for Malaga T10, the European Cricket Network. The OVs going over to Malaga weekend after next for the group stage of the T10 competition. Tell us a little bit about what you know about the competition, both of you, and how we're going to get on.
Well, hopefully we're going to get on extremely well, win every game. That's the plan, you know. So the European Cricket Network is essentially the Champions League of cricket, is how I describe it. You've got the winners of each European domestic league who qualify, and then there's 10 different groups or something. And the winner of each group goes back for a finals week. So we're in Group C. We've got 4 opponents to play over the course of 2 days, and then the final day of the trip is a finals day, sort of IPL style. I don't know how to explain that, but anyone who knows cricket will know that. I think Giles knows a bit more about the teams. He's done a bit more research on that. So I think only one of them has qualified previously before. Is that right?
Yes, I think, and only one of the teams have qualified.
So we've got obviously ourselves from Jersey, we've got Alton from Switzerland, Gamblers SC from Portugal, Afyon Karahisar SHS from Turkey, and CC Academic Sofia from Bulgaria. So do you know anything about those teams?
No, but I'm glad you pronounced the Turkish name because it's very hard to pronounce. No, only thing I've seen of them are just looking at their Instagrams and their Twitters. And like I said, Alton, I think, were the team last year that went away, were in the competition last year. So I was just looking through their results from last year, and a year's been by. I don't know how many of the players will still be the same. So that's all I know about the other teams. Obviously, we've seen the kits and we've seen pictures. That's as far as we know. So I think that's going to be quite exciting to kind of start playing against these people that we don't know, because obviously you play against the same people year in, year out in Jersey. You know what people are good at and what they're not. It's going to be a real test for us, I think, for that.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, coming back to our squad, the important factor here. Yourself, James, as captain, brother Rob as vice captain, nice choice. Grant Donaldson, Scott Simpson, myself, yourself, Ed, Jack Stevens, Matt Webb, Jamie Watling, John C. Jenner, Louis Kelly, Theo Pullman and Charlie Brennan, with former captain Luke Galishon as our coach and Simon Williams as manager. How do you think we shape up?
Pretty well. I think that's a very strong squad, a lot of depth there. A lot of the guys do both batting and bowling, very good at both of them as well. We've got some big power hitters, although I don't know on the 40-metre boundaries if you didn't necessarily need to be a power hitter out there, but we've got some boys who can hit the ball a long way, and some very skillful bowlers too.
And some lads who've been there before, representing Jersey, who know the tournament a little bit. Do you think that's going to play to our advantage?
Definitely. We've already had a few talks with the guys who've been out there and tried to figure out sort of some game plans, how to go about everything. A few of the guys who've been out there tend to be a bit of the younger guys, for the most part. So yourself included, obviously. So we've tried to lean on them for a bit of knowledge. But I guess it's just we'll find out what it's like when we're out there.
Sure, and the media coverage is massive. It's quite a spectacle to be a part of. And Ed, taking over as the new media manager for the club, what are your expectations for the tournament, and how are you thinking about covering it?
I don't have many expectations because, no disrespect to whoever was media manager before me, I don't think we had one. It's hard to get worse than what we've been doing. So I think just trying to put as much as we can onto all of our social media forms. At the moment, that's usually just Instagram and Twitter, and just sort of, in the nicest way possible, flood it, let everyone know how we're doing. It's going to be quite hard because I don't think we're allowed our phones when we're playing.
Not in the players.
So it's going to have to be a lot of work outside of the cricket for me to just make sure people are aware of what we're doing and things like that. And I guess I'll lean a bit on the ECN because they'll take a lot of photos and they're the ones recording it. So it's then on me to just basically sift through that and, pick out all the sixes I'll hit and just put that online. Probably that's what will happen.
Well, you mentioned that anyone involved in Jersey cricket knows that you hit a big ball. This format is surely right up your street.
Biggest six in the team. I think so. But I think it, in a weird way, it favours everyone because there is no pressure to go out there and I say it in the weirdest way, score runs. You're there to just hit the ball as much as possible, as far as you can, as hard as you can. Mm-hmm. That if you get out doing that, usually there can be a bit of annoyance behind that. Now it's what you're there to do. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people will feel a lot less pressure doing that. Mm. I think for someone like myself, there's actually even more pressure because that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the game plan. And like I said, I mean, they're small boundaries, so fingers crossed.
I felt the same way. Like when I was there back in October, like you're like, oh, well, it's tiny boundaries. It's a mat. Just hit it for six every ball, and it is. It's difficult to just walk in and biff it from ball one. I found that in the first game, but it's a massive tournament, heavily with expat players. A lot of these teams will have players of Indian and Pakistani heritage and things like that, and it almost is a slog off. Mm. Do you think the boys are ready for that challenge?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got enough power in the hut. Absolutely. We've been training really well for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Boys have been hitting it very, very hard in the nets. Almost had a couple of injuries, which was not ideal. But I think we've absolutely got enough power to compete with these guys.
Have you got your batting lineup in your head? That's decided yet?
To be confirmed. Very much to be confirmed.
We're not going for an exclusive here, are we?
It's no exclusive today, but I've got some sort of an idea.
Love it. And in terms of personal preparations, you both feeling good and ready to go?
I think Ed more than me. I've had to miss a couple of sessions through being away, but I think I'm getting there, definitely.
And as captain, there'll be quite a few media requirements required of you throughout the tournament. Watching Chuggy do it while we were away was quite funny. Obviously on camera now, so getting a big media exposure here. How excited are you to have to face the lights on the big stage?
Yeah, excited. A bit nervous, I have to say. It's I've never really done anything like that before. It's going to be interesting for sure. Mm-hmm. But looking forward to seeing what they've got to say, and hopefully just be talking about us winning every game.
Yeah, too right.
Which would be nice.
As media manager, I'll train you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And we got, like you mentioned, we've got such a young squad. We've got lads who have come through who are not squad fillers in the slightest, who are very much senior players for us. How exciting is it for them to get to experience these sort of things at a young age?
Fantastic. Like, us growing up, we all grew up playing cricket together pretty much. There was never anything like this on show for us, and it's something that's evolved for the last 3 years. I think it gets bigger and bigger every year, this tournament. So to play live on YouTube, have thousands of people watching you, hundreds at the ground. It's certainly an experience, one that a lot of the team will have never experienced, not just the young guys, but we've got such a good young core that I'm not worried about them in the slightest. They're all very confident and they're very sure of their own skills, and I have absolute faith in them. They'll execute on the day.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned thousands of viewers. It's more than that. As when we were the final between England and I think it was Netherlands when we were there, apparently had 14 million viewers. Basically, just from India. And they do
that's a lot bigger number than I thought.
It's bizarre, isn't it? I found that out afterwards because you mentioned that we're not allowed our phones in the players' areas. It's due to betting laws where I don't know if it had happened previously, but they were really tight on that because apparently there is such a big interest coming from places like India and Pakistan for it.
You get lots of messages. We had it when we played for Jersey. You get a briefing which is essentially you're not allowed to, because you kind of have a competitive advantage even if you're playing amateur cricket, you will get people messaging you on Twitter, Instagram saying who's playing today, people you literally are in different continents to you, so that's why it's really weird.
I got a message from a random Indian chap who said he'd pick me in his fantasy team and wish me well for the week. So
great,
hard luck to that lad for picking me. But how do you boys feel about that? You might be picked up in someone's fantasy team.
Well, that's certainly something new.
It's now your decision to drop him. So this guy can't get any points.
If you're in my fantasy team, you'll be playing and opening batting every game.
Fantastic. And Malaga itself, have either of you two been?
Never. No.
So the hotel we're staying in is lovely. Potentially a chance for a little bit of golf has been thrown around. I don't think the guys are that fussed. No, definitely not keen to play much golf now. So
I think it's a quite a hectic schedule. We got sent the schedule this morning, so I don't think there's too much free time. It doesn't look like, unfortunately.
But in terms of the trip, great bonding opportunity for all the guys. Great chance for a few family members and groupies to come along
Absolutely,
and enjoy some non-alcoholic beers on the sideline and take it in as well. Great for the club as a whole.
Huge. I think Giles hit the nail on the head earlier. You know, we are all really good friends. A lot of us have grown up playing cricket together from our age group, and then the more junior members of the team, they've all played cricket together for the last decade, and we've just really meshed really well over the last couple of years between the more experienced guys and the junior guys. So we love playing cricket with each other. We love, spending all our Saturdays with each other. You have to play cricket. Agreed. And I think we do it pretty much better than any team. So it's good, and it's huge for the club. Obviously, I mean, to have exposure like this on an international level, I guess you could say, is it's massive, and everyone is buzzing for it. Like the chat at training has been real good, and everyone's so excited.
Absolutely. So I'm going to leave you with I'm going to put you on the spot. Who from our squad is going to be your player of the week? Who's going to step up?
This could cause some controversy at Monday night training.
You can say yourself, but just be aware of how that will look.
No, I personally, for me, it's going to be one of the batters. I think it's a lot about how many runs you can get and how quickly. So I would say potentially Charlie Brennan, or this man sat next to me. Bowls, bats, hits the ball a long way, takes wickets, and if you can do all that all week, then be very happy.
No pressure.
Yeah, I won't say myself now. I'm going to go Jack Stevens. I think he has such a natural eye with the ball, plays hockey. He's been piecing it around in training recently. He can seriously bowl. He's an athlete. And he's got a very good game sense, and I think that's what you kind of need when you're out there as well. So I'm going to throw my name in the hat and put Jack Stevens out there.
Yeah,
I think you could have anyone, to be honest.
Yeah,
anyone in the entire squad could have an incredible week and then win as the group.
Let's hope all 14 of us have incredible weeks.
That's the dream. Well, there's a great cross, isn't there? We've got Scott Simpson with his left arm pace, which is going to be a handful on a mat. You got Louis Kelly with his left arm spin, his variations. It's going to be hard work. But then you got people like Matt Webb who swing the ball. You got TP Theo Pullman, who's had two excellent previous trips over there with Jersey. His style of bowling has really suited that sort of stuff, and he's done really well. I think he's going to have a good week. But Steve-O was the one for me as well. Watching him bat last night, he's a joke. He's
just an athlete.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
The fact that he's still 17, 18 is.
And let's not forget he's a phenomenal fielder as well. Yeah. And fielding's going to be key out there. So as well.
If we're not watching it sail over our heads every other ball.
Well, I managed to leave one off Julius, which didn't go down very well in the last tour. It went straight between me and Josh Lawrence, and I just went, yours, and...
None of that, please, this time.
Got a bit of a stare from the big fast bowler at that one. But, chaps, it's going to be a great week. Thank you very much for joining us in the pod room. It's a pleasure to have you, and can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Chaps. Thank you, Corbs.
And now time to hear from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Rathbones, and I sat down with Rathbones Managing Director, Vice President of the Old Victorians Cricket Club, and Old Victorian alumni himself, Mr. John Giles. John Giles, Managing Director at Rathbones, thank you so much for joining us on the pod. Now, Rathbones obviously main sponsor of the Old Victorians Cricket Club as well. Tell us a little bit about how that relationship has come about.
Yeah, great question. Well, I think, a few years ago, the only way I could have played was by being sponsor. But if we take away the easy jokes, it's about putting time and energy into the community. It's what Rathbones does a lot of. We might be known for being, a leading investment management firm, but, we talk a great deal in Rathbones about, investing in the community and the community then investing in you. It's not necessarily about financial values when we say that. It's about having a social conscience, and that is written large in a lot of stuff Rathbones has done since 1742. But we won't go into 300 years on the podcast. So for many years, Rathbones have been supporters and sponsors of arts, education, and sport to generate opportunity in the community. And this is one of them. Sport in that sort of context is gives opportunities for people to excel, to just get out and put a pair of boots on or pick up a racket. We work with paddle tennis, as I'm sure your listeners know, as well as hockey in other sports. And so there's a great benefit of being out and about, and a great benefit for also challenging and being competitive. And if you end up in a team like the Jersey Island or one of the club teams like OVs this year, Farmers last year, they can also go and excel in great tournaments. And so being in that is great. Why the OVs? Well, I'm an OV myself. Rathbones also works with the Victoria College Foundation. We have a bursary that allows opportunity of people to go to the school which they might not be able to otherwise. And so, extending our support into the old Victorians from there just seemed like a natural path to take. So it's one of the schools we support, one of the clubs we support, but there are many others. Mm-hmm. But I suppose as a cricketer and an OV, this one is closer to my heart than many.
And of course, both of your boys have played for the club as well. Ed, we've just had him on. He'll be on this podcast with us as well. That must be exciting for you.
Well, it is. The last time I played cricket against my son Will, he hit me several times out of College Field, which he's always prepared to tell me about.
He's done that to a few bowlers over the years.
Yeah, true. Whenever it gets competitive over a family lunch, he always tells me about that last innings. But yeah, look, it's really exciting. They're both talented cricketers in their own way. And the thing about the OVs now is that maybe it was when we were playing. It's full of youngsters, but actually they're talented. They've been coached brilliantly through the game, through school, and the Jersey Cricket Board, and the mix the OVs have now is youth, but also quite a few seniors with experience who have been through the Jersey setup. They played in tournaments, and I think that that focus on exuberance and a little bit of experience could put us in good stead, to get through the first phase, then into the finals, and then hopefully win it. And if Ed can take a wicket, score a run, make a catch, or just support the team in getting there, then fantastic.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned the Spain trip there, John's talking about the very successful last season for us, 2023, culminating in us qualifying for this tournament. How proud of you for the success of the team over recent years?
Very, very proud. Taking away sort of the taking off the family hat. Of course, very proud there. But if I was to put on the Rathbone hat, then it's great that we are connected to a team that is successful. A little bit of their glory rubs off on our brand as well, and we get lots of mentions in the JEP because they're doing well. So with all of the OV hats on, parental hats on, and Rathbone hats on, it's been fantastic. Very, very proud. And long may it continue. As I said, they're young enough now, I think, to carry this momentum forward for many years. Mm. So the other teams can watch out.
And the Spain trip itself, are you going to be able to pop over at some point?
I can't. We're currently knee deep in work. Regrettably, my work-life balance is currently focused on work, and so I can't travel.
The media exposure over there is going to be massive. One part of it that's very exciting from a player's perspective as well. But having the Rathbones name out there on the lights and brights of the cameras, that must be great for the company itself and for the club.
Well, yes. I'll go back to a few comments I've already made. I think being associated with success, rubs off, and wishing the OVs great success, and through that, if we can lead a slightly vicarious life and say, the glory is part ours, then even better. But I know there are lots of teams out there. I think we've got the Rathbone logo on one of the sleeves. If the TV cameras look at those, then we'll be delighted.
We'll make sure we point at it every time we take a wicket.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll leave you on this one. Do you think we can win? And who do you think is going to be your standout player for the week?
What's that? The $64 million question, I think that is. Look, I think I've mentioned we've got some brilliant players. We've got the Senior Player of the Year, crowned a couple of days ago. We've got the Junior Player of the Year crowned, or the Young Player of the Year crowned a couple of days ago. So whether you're looking at youth or experience, I think we're very, very well set. I think we can go all the way. And a couple of big hits here and there. I'd hate to be a bowler in this format. T10 is a batsman's game, but I think we can do really, really well. And based on the form of last year, the boys have been really diligent in getting out and keeping fit and netting. I think we're up for it. But again, win or lose or not win, it's going to be a fantastic experience for the club and something to build on. You've got to experience these things to put it in your back pocket for next year. And that's it's those sort of incremental bits and pieces.
Absolutely. John, thank you so much for joining us on the
Absolute
Bailiwick
pleasure.
Sport podcast. It's been a pleasure having you. Looking forward to the trip to Spain now. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Good luck. Thank you.